John.
Is this better?
Yes, it is. All right, that'll fix it.
I guess it might be your line to like Asia, because now it's on the Sydney server. It seems fine. So that whatever works. I tried Hong Kong and Singapore, but I guess it, the line issues might be affecting the stream. So
that's fine.
Whatever works, it's fine.
It works.
Yeah, we're in Sydney now. Sydney service.
Welcome to Sydney, sir. How does it feel?
The same. It's still pretty smoky here. Doesn't change my situation. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I like it. We'll see. We'll see. At least the line's better, and we'll find what they do here. Gonna be a great back and forth. And Jackie, he is such an interesting core player. He's the only core player right now that loves these illusion heroes. Right? He's the only one playing the PL. He's the only one who always goes back to this Naga as well. And even the Terrorblade, I think, has been something that's been on the table for MG.TRUST a couple of times. So it's such an old way of playing. It's like from last year, but it's been working for MG.TRUST. We'll see if they can make it work this time.
Use it wisely.
It's rare we get to see the Jackie Naga Siren though. Like it's hard to know what to expect from him Seen it once or twice.
Mm.
Obviously, Jackie, he does farm very quick, so it suits his play style to have this kind of hero. We'll actually hold that thought, because bot lane, a big smoke up here, but Q is going to have his smoke broken. He's trying to get in range of Lance for that toss back. He might just have it now, but he needs a friend to toss back to, and they're not close enough. So they will be able to get Lance out of there. And instead, play some wards down. Try mid lane, see if they can spot out DDZ.
30 seconds to battle.
Earless is going to know there is a ward around there somewhere. Should be able to get a nice D ward off onto that Wind Ranger ward.
Yeah, they've
MG.TRUST
already
seem
got
very
the
happy
sentry.
about it.
Yeah, Boombell should get some extra gold. Sets themselves up. No, DDC's going for the deny immediately.
Good. Gets it. Very nice.
Got it. Ooh. Yeah. So no free gold for you, Boombell, unfortunately. Still even starting the bounties, but that is some forward play from DDZ, just securing himself there. I mean, he's not going to have vision, so you've still got to step up for MG.TRUST, but you don't bleed the gold out. You're happy enough with salvaging that situation here.
DDZ's been really good throughout the BTS Pro Series, though, I've got to say. See a lot of talent in this man. You know, there's been some mistakes happening for sure, but he has been putting on a performance. See what he does now up against the Ember of Fearless. He did it last game. Of course, they did not win last game, which is a bit problematic, but in terms of the laning stage for DDZ, he definitely had the upper hand. On the Wind Ranger, I'd argue he should have an even better time. But we'll see as time goes on.
Yeah, I think you're looking for level 3 to be the spike for the Ember here. Definitely, you want a value point in the chains to punish if DDZ overextends. But DDZ as well, you know, he gets a power shot off. If the Flame Guard's not up, you're going to cop a lot of damage.
I think Masaros may have just killed himself. No, he'll chain away. He was very, very low. Only has the chains up right now. No points in reactive quite yet. They are trying to abuse that timing up against the Timbersaw up at that top lane. Looks like Masaros should be able to just soak level 2 now, as that is a pretty big creep wave coming his way. And, from that point on, he really should just be fine from that level 2 mark.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that they do put Masaros top though and toss back.
Chains through. They don't have the Whirling Death to really get the kill here onto Candy, but a nice hoof stomp. Masaros still wanted to keep going, will not be able to, however, as Yamate is there to block them off with the Battery Assault. The Q is rotating back around. Yamate will be there to cut him off on the clock. Won't be able to go in for that self-cancellation on Candaloon. Meanwhile, the bot lane, which is the one we haven't quite looked at yet, is going to be Boombell there on the Oracle with Jackie on the Naga. Of course, they are going to be up against Lance on the Void, and you've also got Mosin there on the Jakiro. You see a quick Fortune's End come out there on Lance. He'll be able to time walk it off. And Jackie, I believe... No, he did not dodge out that Jewel Breath damage that did come out from Mosin. It is only level 1 though, so it's not really that much damage.
It's an interesting choice though to throw both of the safe laners against each other. You are seeing a better time for Lance in this initial laning phase. 10 last hits, 2 denies compared to Jackie's 5 to 4. You don't want your Naga falling this far behind anymore.
Yeah, Masaros, top lane, ends up killing off Candaloon. That's one thing you can't underestimate with the Timber. Once he does have that Whirling Death up, he can just get through that HB pool of the Centaur very easily.
Yeah, and that would explain why they swapped those lanes out. They are maybe slowing down the farm of Jackie a bit, but they're keeping Candaloon in check. They're giving that snowball start for Masaros, and if the Timber does get off to a good start, it can be really disruptive. So this is something New Esports have to be a bit cautious about, but of course that kill up top allows a rotation mid.
Mid lane. DDZ getting tossed back there by Q, but is not going to die yet. Fearless going to chase him down with the Flame Guard. Still power shot out from DDZ, and Q's the one dropping low, and is going to go down to Yamate. DDZ will somehow walk out of there alive.
That's some excellent punishment. Yamate just on point with a counter rotation. Fearless, that wasn't quite the right time. He did not have mana. Q was trying to force it, but just not enough to get the follow-up fully from the Ember, and they're punished for being too keen. So gotta watch out for that. That will give New Esports a leg up and kind of going for these runes as well. You've got a lot of work to put in here if you're Fearless trying to grab those power runes.
You do, but top lane, apparently Mosin, or rather bot lane Mosin goes down. Power rune's going to spawn up, but it's a haste rune up at the top lane, and DDZ is going to be able to get the bottle up. Does grab it, making Fearless's life as hard as possible. Down at that bot lane, of course, we did see the Jakiro dropping there for Mosin. Lance was left alone for a little bit, but ultimately wasn't really punished at all. Just fine on the Void, even without the Jakiro around. And that's the thing with the Naga Siren and the Oracle, right? Until you get a few more levels up, especially on the Naga, you're not really going to get that much damage. However, a great rotation in from Q, back onto Mosin, and they're going to make him walk back to the lane.
Ooh, that's a painful one. He did just TP in. So it's going to be a walk of shame back for him. That gives a lot of time here for Jackie to just get some farm going. Lance is still up there, though. So you still haven't slowed down this Face's Void. I think that's really the only takeaway there for new esports. You've got to be a bit cautious with Lance, so he can't really step too far forward alone.
Fortune Zen's going to fly out, but not going to do too much now. Lance is fine. He is going to be left alone for a bit of time, though, and that's going to mean Q can just continue to zone him out on that Tiny. Haven't got the ensnare to play with or anything like that on Jackie, but that's pretty standard for Naga Sirens. Mosin is still trying to make his way back. Lance is going to survive.
They're going to have to maintain this tri-lane. I think they want to match the aggression here from MG.TRUST, so new esports is going to try to make it work their way, but you can see Q, he's just always ready.
Another nice toss back onto Mosin. Fortune Zen going to fly in, Jackie trying to get in range for some damage, but Q's actually the one being caught out by Yamate. With that level 2 battery assault, they just ripped through the HP pool of the Tiny now.
Yeah, you do have to be cautious with that positioning. Good punishment from you. And that did buy some time for Fearless to actually find the illusion rune this time. So our Ember does get a refill because of the supports being tied up. But you've got to maximize that, and Yamate, he's not stopping.
He's not. They will go back onto the Oracle now. Boombell. Spot of danger here. Should drop and tries to Fairy Fire up. Still turning back around for a Fortune Zen, but does go down. Jackie's going to try for a trade onto the Jakiro. Mosin once again going to be targeted here, and Fearless with a nice rotation in will allow that to happen. So it will end up being a 1-for-1. It does just cost you the rotation from the Ember.
Yeah, I think if you're Fearless right now, you'll take it. You do need a couple of kills under your belt to really start snowballing. That mid lane has still been fairly DDZ dominant, still ahead in terms of last hits. And you do have level 6 in DDZ along with a Javelin. So you actually don't want to be caught by the Shackles, and I think they're just going to be a bit more cautious down mid. They might be perhaps lining up. Q is around to maybe make a play here.
We are going to have a quick pause out. Fearless asking for a second. Still 3-4 right now. Slight net worth lead out for new esports. Not really much to write home about. We do have the go ahead. Still a very even game though. In terms of net worth, I mean, it is pretty even across the board. Neither team really falling too far behind. Just a question of who that suits more. Like, would you rather the Naga be equal, or would you rather the Void be equal? In fact, Shackle's mid lane, Fearless. It's going to be alright. He did just get shackled underneath that tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, the bot side jungle, Boombell going to get caught out now on the Oracle. Does have the Fate's Edict and the Purifying Flames to try and survive a bit longer, but Fearless is going to come in. But no, Boombell's gone. Just can't sustain himself through the battery assault.
Yeah, it's again, great punishment coming out from you. That's a lot of commitment from Boombell to get the ward off, and it's immediately taken out anyway. So you've got to be cautious about how deep you go to get that forward vision. Have to point out as well, Masaros' courier has died twice trying to deliver his brown boots. He's been stuck without any new items for a while because of that, so it's just really great forward play from Candelian to constantly snipe that courier out. It does force Q to be up here now as well, so they break the tri-lane off, relieving some pressure in your Void, and that does just open up more farming opportunities here for Lance. Of course, Jackie's still having a good time, but I think right now, new esports, 4-4, slight 1k lead their way. You should start to look at maybe considering taking some of these towers.
It's a big group up here up in that top lane. Q and Boombo just hanging around. They'd love to try and make the jump onto the Centaur. Candy will now make himself well known to be in the area, so pops the Stampede, but the Fortune Center is going to connect, and now they should be great follow-up out from Q with the Avalanche and the toss-up. That'll be a nice kill going to the Tiny, and Masteros's courier does now respawn, so he can bring out his items in peace.
At least he gets his delivery service going. That means he is going to have arc boots, I believe, so mana sustain not going to be an issue here for our Timbersaw. Should open up Masteros to allow him to play a lot more aggressive, or at least be more disruptive. They have given a lot of space out to Jackie. He's left alone in the jungle, clearing out Ancients by himself. This is something New Esports might want to contest down the line. We've seen Jackie get free farm before. Even if he starts behind, he does suddenly pop in and do a lot of work. You are still in a good spot here with Lance. He's also in the jungle. Mask of Madness about to be up into the Maelstrom. So it's not as farm heavy coming out from Lance. It does have more offensive utility. We'll see if he'll make use of that first chrono sooner or later.
Masteros going to be chased down now by Yamate. Shackles in from DDZ will allow them to break the gap, but Masteros still gets the chains off. It does not get cancelled by that battery assault. Now, Fortune's end to fly in. Masteros still posturing, but here comes Fearless on the Ember now. Shackles not going to latch. Lance even joining in now on the Void. He wants to be here to try and push out that top tier 1 tower, but he does have the chrono for a fight, and he's going to go onto the Oracle. Just trying to burst him down now with the power shot to follow up. MG.TRUST, they are still trying to posture as if they are going to go for a fight here. Fearless is getting very low on mana, but he throws out the chains. Now back onto Masteros. They'll focus fire. DDZ going to follow him down with the Javelin, but Masteros is going to survive. The power shot will fly through. He is still alive. Now back onto Yamate. Toss it back into Masteros, and well, Masteros just shreds him apart. Ultimately a 1-for-1 trade just on the supports.
That's not the biggest kill to find. They are trying to get some space elsewhere though, but it looks like New Esports, they're going to be happy enough with at least getting something done with the first chrono. They can set up for the push, but you immediately have Masteros TPing in, so they're going to make it difficult to find these objective trades. Candy's not going to be able to play around with his Retaliate. Unfortunately, it looks like they will be able to successfully stave off aggression although mid.
Yeah, Hookshot is going to be out onto Q. Stampede also committed, but he does get the Avalanche in time, but there's the Shackles now from DDZ with the power shot follow-up. And Yamate is able to finish off the kill. Still bot lane, Moses going to be in danger now. The Jakiro will also go down. So another support trade between the two teams. MG.TRUST, they do start setting up for that bottom tier 1 tower. So they'll be able to get it fairly easily. The Glyph will come out, but that's only going to delay it slightly. Jackie's not going to back off.
Yeah, they will manage to find the first T1. There's not quite a lineup here from New Esports to go for their own objective. They have been contesting the jungle though. They've been keeping track of those stacks, preventing MG.TRUST to fully utilize that space, which has been pretty great from Candy, just being disruptive, but there is that objective. So you're a step up now on MG.TRUST. New Esports, they would love to take a tower. I think that's really down to Candy Loon. You have to make use of this Retaliate and Centaur, and they are lining up for the top lane with the Jakiro and Lance as well.
There is a chance for Motivate to try and defend, but I guess when you have a +1 Naga, you do have to play a bit more passively and just get your net worth up to the point where it's just uncontrollable. Masteros, he'll be around, but he's going to be surrounded, and Candy, he's actually going to TP straight out in front of Masteros. So switches attention over to the Jakiro now. Chains out, has the Chakram. Q's going to come in for the Avalanche, and that'll be your Jakiro gone. Masteros now on his 3rd kill of the game. They do at least get something for their trouble, but mid lane now, Yamate, another great hook shot onto the Oracle. That'll be Boombell going down. These poor supports just getting picked off left, right, and center.
Yeah, it's not the biggest kills for both sides. I think the key thing here is that you are giving Masteros a lot of these kills though. So our Timbersaw is just set to really take over that mid game. He's going to have a good timing into the Yules. Going to have that self-purge, able to get himself around the map a lot easier as well. And New Esports have to be a bit careful about that. Masteros, if he wants to, can play between Tier 2, Tier 3. just force a response every single time. It's the stall tactic for Nago. As you mentioned, you just want to wait for Jackie to get the farm up. Masaros is ready to buy that space out. Even Fearless is going to have his Yules up as well. So they're just about ready to play here on MG.TRUST, playing as 4 protect Jackie. New, they are almost there with Lance. Like the Maelstrom's just about done. Just about 1,000 gold away still. A smoke out here from MG.TRUST. They might be able to find a big pick-off if they find that Faces Void up top.
They might. Q. Lance always going to go farm that large camp. They're going to just move away and wait for it. Going to find a way to initiate, but you are going to need Fearless with those chains out. Fearless does also have a double damage rune. There's your Remnant out now. With the chains, they try and blow him up. And with the avalanche toss, it'll be enough. That's a very, very nice pick-off for MG.TRUST. You do have a quick disconnect out from Q on the Tiny. Looks like they're also having lag issues, John. But that's fine. They already got what they came for up at that top lane. No big deal for them.
Yep. Nah, they've already got it. And yeah, Southeast Asian internet not having a good time. I think this is going to last for the next few days, by the way. I think that line maintenance takes a while. So it is what it is. You know how it's so hard to route traffic when a lot of the region's just ocean. You know, it's a whole bunch of water, Mike. So stuff goes wrong. But it is what it is.
How do you fix it when it goes wrong, though? I've always thought that, right? You've got these lines underneath the sea. It's like, what do you do if something happens? Like, who fixes it?
Well, you get some. I think it's usually like you drag a boat out. You've got these points mapped out where the relays are, the repeaters are. You drag them up, you check, push them back in. I guess that's the only way that makes sense to me. Like you pull up the connectors down below at that point, split it open on the boat, check the line. If a segment needs to be redone, you pay through the butthole for that one. It's not cheap. Sounds like a pretty cushy job when you think about it, you know? But it must be tiring as well.
It's a very educated sounding answer, John. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Look at this. New esports, Candy and Yamate. They want to go hunting.
They do. Jackie does have Song up. They're going to hook onto Boombill. And Boombill is going to try his best to try and survive, but there's no chance. Battery Assault just making it way too difficult to cast anything on himself. Meanwhile, however, on the other side of the map, Mosin also caught out. Will go down. It's just Mosin and Boombill constantly dying across the map.
Yeah, I mean, better them than the cores, I think, for both sides. So you're not happy with the pickoffs, but at the same time, you're okay with the losses. It keeps them even. Slight kill lead here for MG.TRUST, 8-10, but a slight net worth advantage for New Esports as well, and they do set up for the mid tower now.
Fearless still has a double damage rune bottled up. He'll go on to Yamate with the chains, avalanche out, and Masteros puts him in the shredder. Into that mid lane now. They want to try and use that DD rune to maybe get that T1, or maybe not. They don't need the DD rune. They'll just use the siege creep. So Masteros getting caught out by Canloon. Now the shackles to come out with the focus fire, but Masteros still surviving, trying to chain out of there. Will make it out of there. Now Fearless with a great chains. Still the chrono is going to be up from Lance, but now the song is there from Jackie. Just everyone being held down by the side of Motivate as they go back in now onto New Esports, and they're just shredding them with this Timber Saw. Candy, he's trying to make a run for it. There is no way out of this. He gets ensnared up. MG.TRUST. Just perfect coordination from this team.
Yeah, Jackie, he's just where he needs to be every single time. Song perfect to counteract. That's what we were talking about from the draft. It's just so disruptive towards Lance, and they were trying to reveal DDZ's MKB, but when you focus fire a Timber Saw, even with an MKB, that's still a Timber Saw. You know, it's a, what level is it? Level 2 focus fire, that's still 40% damage reduction. You are not melting the Timp unless you get the full duration off, so gotta reprioritize the targets there for DDZ. Maybe consider ripping through the Oracle. I think if you actually got Boombell first, you might have won that fight, but not the case. They need to kind of fix their targeting there for New Esports, and they've got to wait for the next Chrono now. That's just the way it is when you've got the Void lineup.
Smoke up. Oh, Fearless is going to break that smoke, but DDZ might get a nice shackle. No, they get the hoof stomp instead, and Fearless is just going to go down. Oh, hook shot in. Yamate, he's also got Boombill, and they'll get a secondary. MG.TRUST. Time for them to leave the building. They will. However, Candaloon trying for another hoof stomp onto Q. Won't quite be able to catch him. Now Masaros wanting to turn back around onto Candy with the avalanche and the toss. It's a lot of damage out, but Candy is going to sustain himself. Meanwhile, Jackie, the Lance is up at that top lane. He's not interested in getting involved here without the chrono. Jackie going to stick around. We'll try it onto DDZ. Gets the ensnare off, and Windrun is not available, so the avalanche toss is going to be there. In fact, Windrun was already committed. Masaros moving forward now with the Yules. Will hold him up. Chains, no, not going to land. It was cancelled by the Ice Path. Mosin saving the day for DDZ. Trust just going to have to back off with no real reward for their trouble.
Yeah, it's a really great defensive play from New Esports. They're going to take the freebie that they got with Fearless. He's got to be a bit more cautious. Didn't quite have the remnants to get out of there in time. Still, you're seeing yourself in a slight lead here if you're MG.TRUST. You're building up on Jackie. The Scotty is going to be next for Arnaga. And the pace here for Jackie is still pretty darn good. He has a considerable lead over Lance. So our Faceless Void has a lot of work to put in. Does have the Maelstrom up, is rushing the BKB. So once you've got this BKB on Lance, he doesn't need to worry about the song too much. He still won't have the backup from his team though, which is why DDZ is also rushing BKB. You're gonna have to wait for those out before fighting into that song. But MG.TRUST for their part, gotta be very careful with that aggression. Masaros is going for the Halberd. It's gonna be a great value item against the Faceless Void and the Wind Ranger. So just need that in a timely manner to get the disarms off in this game.
MG.TRUST, they've got Masaros in that mid lane. It looks like Masaros is trying to bait for his team. They're standing right behind him. But New Esports know what's going on. They'll hold out. Smoke will be popped though. MG.TRUST wanting to go for another fight. Scanned out, however. Masaros going to have his smoke broken. Yamate gonna run into Boombo and finds the exact target he wants, but Chrono was attempted. Not there yet. Lance will go back in now onto Masaros. They've already got the Oracle. Masaros dropping low on the Timber, but will be alright. Still continuing, and now the Chrono onto Fearless. They got the Ember, but there's a song. Jackie will stop everything. They want to disengage out of here. Masaros may have just been left behind, but he's going to try and chain out himself. Power shot, not really going to land. Yamate not going to get him in the cogs either. And Q still coming back in now with an avalanche. Masaros does get Mosin. Shackle, great from DDZ. Lance going to jump back in, but now Fearless is there to join. Candy misses the hoof stomp, trying to get that Ember Spirit, but he will not be able to. They'll continue chasing, however. Another Shackle's out from DDZ. Onto the Oracle now, so Boombill will go down. It's going to end up being a 1-for-2 trade. And that reinitiation from MG.TRUST didn't really pay off for him.
No, it's not quite lining up. They're sacrificing a bit too many heroes to get these openings. And the lead does go New Esports' way. They get a bit of a shove in on the mid-tier 1, probably find the objective as well. The issue right now for MG.TRUST is that Jackie comes in with Song, then pulls out. He does not have damage, does not want to stand and fight. So they're forced to play safe.
He just time walk, but he's going to be tossed back into Fearless. He has another time walk up though. Looks like he'll be alright. There's your ensnare coming in now. Do they want to fight this? Jackie, he's moving in. He's 400 gold off his Eye of Skadi though, so he really doesn't want to die at the moment. But Masaros is just going to go to the front lines. Onto the Centaur. Candy in trouble, is going to go down. Onto the next. Q. He'll blink forward onto Mosin. They love picking off this Jakiro, but they've also got Yamate in the Yules up. Masaros going to control the clockwork. A nice toss back into the Timber. They'll go for the Ice Path and the Macro Pyre, and it's quite a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. They should be able to get the kill, and they do. Masaros on a triple kill on the Timber Saw, and it's straight into that tier 2 mid tower.
Yeah, it's not going to be the quickest push. That's one thing that MG.TRUST does not have as well. Although Masaros, if he is allowed to just get the damage off, it does tick down very low. So good amount of damage coming in there. They swing the lead back their way. There's that Scotty now from Jackie, so he should be more confident to join in these fights. He's got a lot of stats on this Naga Siren. You can start to rip through these heroes if you're not careful. You even got a mech on Master. So they've got a ton of sustain here. Gonna go into the Guardian Greaves. And knowing that the Chrono's down for a little bit longer, not too long though, they might look to make something happen soon.
Not only that, they've also got the Axe coming up on Fearless. He's about 950 gold away, but Yamate gonna hookshot in after Q on the Tiny, but the toss back onto Yamate, back into his team. Q might die, but he gets a trade for it. Although Q is still alive, the false promise is gonna be there in time. Now back onto DDZ, but Boombill, he will drop to Lance. Masteros gonna keep going, but a nice chrono out from Lance is gonna hold the Timber down with the macro pipe, but there's your song coming out. Oh, Masteros is gonna survive. Back in for Jackie. Lance still chasing the Timber. Stampede can be committed, but you've lost Mosen now. DDZ trying to reinitiate as well on the Wind Ranger, but there's Q coming in with the Tiny onto Lance. He just bursts it down. DDZ now getting caught out by the clumsy net, by the chains. And it's only Candy left. Yamate, he's trying to come back into this team fight. Candy will TP out. But MG.TRUST are really starting to take over this game now. 3k net worth lead. And it's getting more and more difficult to control Jackie in these team fights, John. He's just getting songs off whenever he wants.
His positioning has been perfect. It's been key for MG.TRUST to come back in. He just throws his illusions forward, stands back, waits for the chrono. And when you get the song off, you just go back in. It's been really hard for new esports to maximize their fights. They do have the BKB up now, though. So
Avalanche
kind
toss.
of BKB through the song.
Yamate in trouble again. Does go for the hook shot, but is still going to tick out to the flame guard damage of Fearless. And Fearless is not done. He's going to go after Canloon now. They can smell that upper, or rather lower bracket final, but can they get it? Candy is going to avoid Lance. Doesn't have Chrono. DDZ going to go for the focus fire. They might get Masteros. He's still trying to survive, but it will go down. A nice pick off there for new esports. Still, it did give time for Jackie to get that Aegis.
And that's a bigger one for MG.TRUST. I think they're happy trading the Timbersaw off for the second life on Jackie. He is rushing the Abyssal as well in the Nagas. They're just looking for control. They're starting to itemize towards aggression. They are going to be able to at least do some good chip damage onto this tier 1 top, but they don't really commit. They're going to wait for the respawn on Masteros. They have to be cautious about the next team fight. Again, the BKB is up on Lance, so the song will not stop the chrono. He's still going to be able to get some hits off. You have to be weary of that coming in here.
You do. Trust. 4k net worth lead. I think once Jackie has that Abyssal Blade up, things get very, very dangerous for the side of New. So you have got the BKBs now coming out on new esports. That should make them feel a lot safer, especially up against the Masteros Timbersaw. It's been causing them a lot of problems. Yeah, we have even the Lance BKB on the Void. I believe even the Centaur trying to go for one, but DDZ's been caught out by the Avalanche toss. He'll pop that BKB charge. Back onto Q. They should get the Tiny and do. And now even the Shackles out on Masteros, but Fearless is going to go back in onto Mosen. Lance, he has the Chrono. Who's he going to Chrono up though? He'll get Jackie in a Chrono, so there's no song available. Another great Shackles out from DDZ, but there's just no damage up from Lance right now. They're going to turn back around. The Stampede not doing enough. Candy's gone. Lance, oh, he's out of that BKB, the bash through as well. Lance is gone, and looks like DDZ is going to be chased. Fearless, he has no remnants left. Can he get the Sleight of Fist Shackles? No. But Masteros gets the Yules off into DDZ. He has Windrun in 5 seconds, but Q's going to be there with the Avalanche, with the toss, with the tree throw. They do kill him off. Yamate, however, going to try and set up onto Masteros, but you can't kill him with 2 supports. They lose their tier 2 mid and maybe even a tier 3 tower now.
Why not? You've got the Aegis. You know Chrono is down. That's a big team fight spell for New. Jackie still has Song, so it's a very safe tower to take. New will have to pull something out here if they want to defend.
They will. Luckily, they do have fairly short respawns, as we are only 27 minutes into the game. It's not all bad. Jackie. He does have Song, he does have Aegis. You've also got the Guardian Greaves now up on Masteros. So a lot of sustain here for MG.TRUST. Hook shot, not going to land there from Yamate. Just trying to cogs push back, or rather Jackie. Move stomp, not going to be there from Candy in time. They do protect the racks, however. And that may be just the most important thing anyway.
Yeah, I'm surprised MG.TRUST isn't willing to fight in. Again, there's no chrono, so it's really just safe. But they take their time, they go back, take some tier 3 items instead, and kind of just reset. I guess there's no rush when you are 7k ahead. You're still waiting for maybe a couple more items, but all of them are still pretty far off. You just get a tier 1 for free with illusions, although...
They have caught out Jackie. It's going to be a big pickup if they get him, and it looks like they may have. Jackie, he's songing, but DDZ's got the BKB. It is just going to be the Aegis. Fearless going to come back in, but can they get the job done? Jackie still being focus fired down by DDZ. It's too much damage. Jackie's going to die. And now MG.TRUST, they need to get the hell out of there. Masros just going to chain TP. Lance is at least going to get Boonball on the Oracle. And now new esports. They might have a way back into this.
Yeah, that's a really big kill to take no buyback on our Naga as well. Just mistimed with a song. Big mistake leaving him alone to just farm up. They didn't even get the wards out. They were a bit too confident there, MG.TRUST. Good punishment from you. Onto the tier 2s. They could look for more, but it's not a very long respawn timer here for MG.TRUST. You're going to see Jackie up in about half a minute.
Can they get a tier 3 tower out of this new? It is kind of tough going into Masros unless he gets caught out like that. Masros!
What?
Gets false promised in time. Needs to chain out of there, but they might just have the control for him. He tries for the chains, it is cancelled. Still trying to run. He survives, but not for long. He does go down, and now the chrono is out from you. On to Fearless. What have you done? Oh, motivate, trust. Just mistake after mistake. They're going to jump back in though. Q, a nice toss back onto the Centaur. They do kill off Candyloon. So new esports can't be overly confident yet. Looks like they are just going to take what they got. They'll get out of there.
Oh man, that's such a costly death for Jackie. And again, I question why they pulled back, but Jackie stays alone. And they don't go for the racks, but you still stay in a risky farm spot with no D-ward. Just a very odd mistake to make for Jackie. Very costly one. Drags their lead down to 2k. They still have that slight edge, but the BKBs are starting to work here for new esports. Lance, he already has the Mjolnir up, so there's even more damage coming out from Faceless Void. MG.TRUST need to really start playing together again. Just a bit too careless. There's the Abyssal up on Jackie. You do want to play offensively with that. They've got to be very cautious of these chronos now. And even the Wind Ranger. She is starting to rip really hard now. DDC's just making the Wind Ranger work out. And you're not that safe here from MG.TRUST. Boombell, he's still saving up for the Aether Lens. Without it, then it's been so hard for him to be in a good spot to get the false promises off. They just need to work together again. So let's see what they pull off. They do smoke up. If they have Song, they might want to look for something.
They still got the advantage, that's for sure. Mosen gonna get remnanted on by Fearless. Does get chains up. They don't have chrono for another 50 seconds. Very hard for them to fight this one out. And Q, a great avalanche toss back in onto Yamate. Yamate trying to hook, but is not going to be able to get himself out of this one. He accepts the fact that he is going to die, but he'll buy back. So will Mosen. But they are a bit preemptive with those buybacks. MG.TRUST, they're going to take it and they'll back off.
Yeah, it's those were really quick considering that new are only really have their mid-racks exposed. Like, they still have a bot tier 2, they still have a top tier 2. So even if they gave 1 racks away, that's just 1 rack. And that is a very fast buyback. Maybe they might be looking at the next rush timer, which we'll find out in about 20 seconds. But even then, this puts them at a precarious spot. They do smoke up, though. They will have chrono up. If they find a kill here, they can transition really fast into an objective.
Might run straight into Boonbill, or Massaros is going to be the one to break the smoke here. He'll turn back around now. Lance, the ice path is there. Candy jumping in with the hoof stomp now. Massaros is very low, but he does get the Yules off in time. Lance still holding onto the chrono. not using it quite yet. He wants to find the real Naga. He'll get Boom Bell first on the Oracle, but they'll hold him down with the chains. So 1 for 1, both supports dying. Masaros back in onto Yamate with the remnants, but Lance, he still does have that chrono up. A nice hoof stomp onto Fearless, but he'll get the Yules back off onto the Void. Now Jackie's got the Abyssal there, Lance.
Oh!
He waited too long. Candloon is going to try for the TP play and will not get bashed. GDZ was being chased on the Wind Ranger. He's going to make it out. Lance dying without buyback there. They're probably going to lose at least 1 Rax in this mid lane, maybe even 2.
Yeah, this is the time when you'd want buybacks up, but again, the preemptive one's being punished well from MG.TRUST. Now, when Lance does respawn, he will have chrono. That's still 30 seconds off. That's enough time to take these 2 set of racks now, and you're gonna have to really try hard to defend that bot set of racks.
It really is, though, on the bright side, at least you have chrono, but it's not worth having it for these 2 racks. MG.TRUST, oh, there goes Q again with the toss back on the Tiny. He has been so consistent this game, Q.
Yeah, just been setting up, and well, that bottom set of racks exposed. You will have Lance up. If you can get a big chrono, that might save them here.
You don't have the follow-up damage with the macro this time around, but they're going to jump in on some Masaros. Jackie does have the Song up, but he's going to wait out the BKBs first. Now your chrono's there. They're going after the Oracle, but Song, he didn't pop his BKB. Lance, he needed to pop the BKB first. DDZ, he's going to get ripped to shreds by the Naga. Lance now trying to run, but he's got bashed through the BKB. This game looks to be over. Lance is going to try and fight back, but there's no buybacks left, and the GG's called. Motivate.TRUST will be the ones to go through to the lower bracket final up against Among Us, and they'll have a chance. If they can beat Among Us tomorrow, they might just make it to the grand final to go up against Boom Esports.
Yeah, I mean, New Esports, they had some answers earlier in this series, but it just falls apart. MG.TRUST against Among Us tomorrow. MG.TRUST is one of the only teams before Boom took that series, one of the only teams to give a loss to Among Us, and they're the ones to really push the limits there. Going to be a treat to watch. Unfortunate for New Esports that their journey ends here. They still went a lot further than a lot of people would have given them, though. So props to them for actually holding out for so long. But, well, we're approaching that last day, Mike. It's going to be a great one tomorrow.
It is. And, of course, that is going to be it for today. A rather early night for us for once, John, but I guess we'll take it. For now, it is MLP Dota and John X Fire. We will see you tomorrow around the same time for those lower bracket finals. And yeah, it should be a good day. The last day of the BTS Pro Series Season 3. We'll see you all again tomorrow.
Ooh, that's life.